Africa, a continent brimming with diverse cultures, breathtaking landscapes, and a history as rich and vast as its land. From ancient empires to modern innovations, Africa's story is one of resilience, adaptation, and an enduring spirit. This period witnessed profound changes, marked by both internal dynamism and external influences. We will journey through the early encounters with European powers, the dark era of the slave trade, the struggle against colonialism, and the triumph of independence movements. Finally, we will arrive at the 21st century, witnessing Africa's resurgence on the global stage, driven by economic growth, technological advancements, and a vibrant cultural tapestry. Through centuries of change, the people of Africa have consistently demonstrated their strength, adaptability, and unwavering determination to shape their own destiny. The 16th century marked a turning point in Africa's relationship with the world beyond its shores. European explorers, driven by a thirst for adventure and riches, began to navigate the African coastline, forever altering the course of the continent's history. Among these early voyagers were the Portuguese, who established a significant presence along the western and eastern coasts of Africa. They were drawn by the allure of gold, ivory, and other valuable commodities that Africa had to offer. The Portuguese established trading posts along the coast, laying the foundation for a complex network of commercial exchange. These outposts served as vital links between Europe and the East, facilitating the flow of goods, ideas, and people across continents. However, this burgeoning trade also marked the beginning of a period of exploitation that would cast a long shadow over Africa's future. One of the most significant consequences of this early European contact was the introduction of the transatlantic slave trade. The 17th century witnessed the horrifying expansion of the transatlantic slave trade. Millions of Africans were forcibly uprooted from their homes, shackled and subjected to the horrors of the Middle Passage, the treacherous journey across the Atlantic. This period marked a dark chapter in human history, one that inflicted unimaginable suffering and left an enduring legacy of trauma and injustice. European powers, including Portugal, Britain, France, Spain, and the Netherlands, competed for control of the lucrative slave trade. They established forts and trading posts along the African coast, collaborating with local rulers and merchants to facilitate the capture and transport of enslaved people. The human cost of this trade was immeasurable. The impact of the slave trade on Africa was devastating. It decimated populations, tore apart families, and disrupted social structures. The loss of human capital stifled economic development and sowed seeds of division and conflict within and between communities. Despite the horrors they faced, Africans were not passive victims in this tragic episode. The 18th century saw the transatlantic slave trade reach its peak, with millions more Africans forcibly transported across the Atlantic. However, this period also witnessed the rise of powerful resistance movements, challenging the slave trade and European encroachment. Africans refused to be passive victims and fought back against their oppressors in various ways. One remarkable example is the Fante Confederacy, a union of Fante states located in present-day Ghana. The Fante people, known for their military prowess, fiercely resisted British attempts to expand their control over the slave trade in the region. They built forts, forged alliances, and engaged in strategic warfare to protect their autonomy and fight for their freedom. In other parts of the continent, resistance took on different forms. Some communities sought to escape the reach of slavers by migrating inland, seeking refuge in remote areas. Religious leaders often played a pivotal role in organizing and inspiring resistance, mobilizing their followers against the injustices of the slave trade. The 19th century ushered in a new era of European imperialism in Africa, known as the Scramble for Africa. As the slave trade declined, European powers sought raw materials and new markets for their industrializing economies. This led to rapid colonization, dividing Africa among European powers with little regard for existing borders. The Berlin Conference of 1884 formalized this division, carving up Africa among European powers. Despite superior military technology, African resistance to imperialism remained steadfast. The Anglo-Zulu War of 1879 stands as a testament to this spirit of resistance. Under King Cetshwayo, the Zulu kingdom fiercely resisted British attempts to subjugate them. Throughout the continent, Africans rose up against their oppressors, determined to shape their own destiny. The 20th century marked a turning point in Africa's history, witnessing the dismantling of colonial rule and the rise of independent nations. Fueled by a growing sense of nationalism and inspired by the sacrifices of those who fought against colonization, independence movements swept across the continent. From Ghana's independence in 1957 to the end of Portuguese colonial rule in 1975, Africa experienced a wave of liberation that irrevocably altered the global political landscape. However, the path to freedom and self-determination was fraught with challenges. The legacy of colonialism, including artificial borders, economic exploitation, and underdeveloped institutions, cast a long shadow over newly independent nations. Many African countries struggle to establish stable political systems, often grappling with ethnic tensions, corruption, and authoritarian rule. Despite these challenges, the 20th century also witnessed moments of hope and progress. One of the most significant events of this period was the dismantling of apartheid in South Africa. As Africa entered the 21st century, a new narrative began to emerge, one that challenged the often negative perceptions of the continent. Fueled by a young and growing population, abundant natural resources, and increasing technological adoption, Africa is experiencing a period of economic growth and development. The Africa Rising narrative, though often debated, highlights the continent's potential to become a major player in the global economy. Technological innovation is playing a pivotal role in this transformation. Across Africa, tech hubs are emerging, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, particularly in the digital space. From mobile money solutions to drone technology and renewable energy initiatives, African innovators are finding creative solutions to local challenges while contributing to global advancements. Furthermore, initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to create a single market for goods and services across the continent, hold immense potential for boosting intra-African trade and economic integration. Beyond economic growth, Africa's cultural influence is also being felt globally. Throughout its long and complex history, Africa has demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability. From the early encounters with European explorers to the era of colonization and the struggle for independence, the people of Africa have consistently navigated challenges with strength and determination. This enduring spirit is deeply rooted in the continent's rich cultural heritage, its strong communal bonds, and its unwavering belief in a brighter future. The story of Africa is not a monolithic one. It is a tapestry woven from the diverse experiences of its people, each with their own unique history, culture, and aspirations. Understanding Africa's journey requires acknowledging this diversity, recognizing the nuances and complexities that have shaped the continent's past and continue to influence its present. From resisting enslavement and colonialism to driving economic growth and shaping cultural narratives, Africans have consistently demonstrated their capacity to determine their own future. Reflecting on Africa's journey, we see a continent of enduring spirit and resilience. Despite immense challenges, Africa has always emerged stronger. Today, Africa faces both opportunities and challenges. Colonialism's legacy and issues like poverty and climate change need urgent attention. Yet hope is fueled by a young population and growing economies. The future depends on today's choices. Investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, promoting good governance and sustainable development, and empowering youth can unlock Africa's full potential. Let's remember the past, celebrate the present, and embrace a brighter future.